Psalm 141. O Yahweh, I call upon you. Hasten to me. Give ear to my voice when I call to you. May my prayer be counted as incense before you, the lifting up of my hands as the evening offering. Set a guard, O Yahweh, over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips. Do not incline my heart to any evil thing, to practice deeds of wickedness with men who do iniquity, and do not let me eat of their delicacies. Let the righteous smite me in kindness and reprove me. It is oil upon my head. Do not let my head refuse it. For still my prayer is against their wicked deeds. Their judges are thrown down by the sides of the rock, and they hear my words, for they are pleasant. As when one plows and breaks open the earth, our bones have become scattered at the mouth of Sheol. For my eyes are toward you, O Yahweh, the Lord. In you I take refuge. Do not leave me defenseless. Keep me from the jaws of the trap which they have set for me, and from the snares of those who do iniquity. Let the wicked fall into their own nets, while I pass by safely. Man, I don't know how I have missed Psalm 141. You ever have that moment where it's like, I've read that so many times and it just never jumped out to me? I read it before I came to do the recording, and I'm just like, I should be reciting this every single morning. And so I think this would be a good one to memorize. I plan on doing this. You might do this with me. But if we memorize Psalm 141, then we'll be asking God every day or every time we recite it to give us holiness and protect us from evil. I mean, listen to this stuff. Verse 2 is amazing. May my prayer be counted as incense before you, the lifting up of my hands as the evening offering. This has come up, I think, one other time in the Psalms as I've done these videos, where a psalmist will pray for his prayers. It's kind of a weird thing to do, but it's like, I've found myself doing that even before I ever saw it in the Psalms. Like, Lord, would you give special attention to my prayers? Because I'm praying for my wife and my kids and the church members and missions and all this stuff. It's like, I'm praying for stuff you care about. And a lot of times we as Christians, we pray and it just seems like we don't see a lot of visible stuff happening. That's okay. It's God's timing, no problem. But, I have asked before, like, Lord, would you just light it up? Because when I'm praying for stuff, if it gets done, the gospel goes forward, because I think it's those kinds of prayers. So anyway, praying for your prayers used to feel kind of awkward to me. It still sometimes does, but the psalmist does it here. Give ear to my voice when I call to you. He's praying for his prayers. Cool idea. And then he says this, verse 3, set a guard, O Yahweh, over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips. He's asking in verse 5, let the righteous smite me or strike me in kindness and reprove me. So he's asking for correction from godly people. God, control what I say. We know that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so if he controls what we say, then there's heart work going on. It's like he's asking for holiness. Well, why would we not ask God for holiness? So this is, I think, a very useful psalm for us to put into action in our daily lives. After all, this is the reason that Jesus saved us to begin with, right? You think about Titus 2, verse 11 and 12. For the grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation to all men, instructing us to deny ungodliness and worldly desires and to live sensibly and righteously and godly in the present age. So we are saved, right? Jesus stepped in, took our sin away from us. He gave us cleansing, and God the Father has adopted us into his family. That's wonderful stuff. Now what do? We deny ungodliness and live sensibly and righteously in this present age. We pray Psalm 141 and or Psalm 141, I should say, and we watch God make it so in us. This is a very good way to live out the gospel that has been given to us. He also prays for justice for the wicked. And just like we saw last week in Psalm 140, he's not asking that God would make him able to execute justice on the wicked. He's saying, Lord, let them fall into the nets that they leave for me. In other words, let them sleep in the bed they make for themselves. So he's asking for justice, but it's kind of a hands-off justice from man's perspective. I don't need to go and do it, but I'm entrusting that to you. So what he's saying here is, keep me holy, make me love wisdom and godly reproof and sanctified conduct and things like that. Let me act like Jesus, basically. Teach me how to do that. And then take care of the wicked. I'm going to focus here. What a wonderful prayer. What a good way to start the day when you get out of bed.